Hello everybody, kia ora, and welcome to this video about the equinox that's coming up, the moment when the sun moves into Libra. That is spring equinox in the southern hemisphere and autumn equinox in the northern hemisphere. In this video I'm going to talk about what that equinox means in the different parts of the world, the southern and northern hemispheres, and I'm going to talk about Libra season, because always when the sun is moving around, Mercury and Venus are never far away, and so Mercury and Venus will be forming part of that solar Libra season, and I'm going to talk about that sign by sign. My name is Fiona of Sun and Moon Calendar, and I make calendars for Australia and for New Zealand. Aotearoa, this is my last copy left. It happens to be an Australian edition of the calendar, and at the moment my little tiny team and me, we're working on developing the 2026 calendar. So and currently, well, normally I live in New Zealand, Aotearoa, but currently I'm traveling around the northern hemisphere for another couple of weeks after doing a few months. I am in currently a Swiss forest, staying in a little Swiss village, maybe a town, and I had to walk across a whole lot of fields to try and find a hidey hole where hopefully I can record the video without disturbing anybody or them disturbing me and making me feel too self-conscious. Anyway, I found a lovely pine forest, and I'm going to get going with talking about the equinox. So, with Western tropical astrology, which is the form of astrology I use, the equinoxes and the solstices define the seasons and define the sign boundaries, so that when the sun moves into Libra, the moment the sun crosses into there and the day and night are of equal length for that equinox, that is the sign of Libra, the beginning of it. And then the sun moves around and it will reach in December it will move into the sign of Capricorn, and that will be summer solstice in the southern hemisphere and winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. And that is the point, if you look on the earth, that is the point where the sun reaches the Tropic of Capricorn, its furthest southern point. And I'm going to just pause and find that illustration in the calendar to show you. So here is the illustration done by Jazz Robery, who illustrated and designed the calendar last year. And you can see at the moment with the equinox, the sun is right over the equator, and that's the point where the sun enters Libra, the sign of Libra. And then the sun is going to move further and further south as we perceive it from Earth until it reaches the Tropic of Capricorn. And that is a turning point of the sun. That is the summer solstice, southern hemisphere. You can see southern hemisphere here. The sun will be in our area, making everything hot and bright. And so it's going to come down, and then it turns around at that solstice point. It's the winter solstice for the northern hemisphere because the sun is the furthest away. Then it's going to go back over the equator in March, and that is the March equinox. And then it's going to go up to the Tropic of Cancer, and that will be summer solstice for the northern hemisphere and winter solstice for the southern hemisphere. I hope you could see that all right. Okay, so with astrology, of course, we talk about the lunar months a great deal, because the lunar months really form this monthly rise and fall of energy, with the new moon being the dark time, the quiet time, and then building up the energy to full moon when it's the full energy, the full noise, especially with eclipses like we have at the moment. And then the moon gets smaller and smaller, and all of that is about, of course, the relationship between the sun and moon. But astrology and astronomy is very much determined also just by that path of the sun and its journey between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn and the equator for the equinoxes. And what we have also, as well as having a lunar month, we have a month where the sun is in each sign. And at the moment that the sun goes into the sign of Libra, and it's the Libra equinox, or the September equinox. That is the start of the sun's 30-day journey through the sign of Libra. Okay, so where astrology comes from in the northern hemisphere, Aries is seen as the first sign, the sign of pioneering, of stepping out into the new, taking the first bold steps in life in a way. And that is why it's represented by the feisty and energetic ram. And that goes along with that season being March and spring in the northern hemisphere. Okay, and where this form of astrology gets difficult is because in the southern hemisphere, it's not spring, it's autumn. It's everything coming down and getting quieter, and a darkening time, even becoming more mystical, which winter can be as we head into winter. Yeah, so it can be tricky talking about those differences in astrology, but the fact is that they are there. And amazingly, I don't know how it works, but people with Aries as their sign, whether that's their sun, moon, or rising sign, or anywhere that any placement that where you have Aries, is bold and feisty and energetic, and has leadership and entrepreneurial enthusiasm and initiative. Yeah, so even though Aries is in the autumn for us in the southern hemisphere, people born into Aries as their sun sign or rising sign still have that energy. How does that work? I don't know. So anyway, what I thought I'd talk about for this video is about Libra, and this being Libra season. And with Libra, we have with the sun going around, we always have Mercury nearby, and we always have Venus nearby. So often astrologers talk about it being Libra season, and in some ways that is all about the sun and the sun's 30-day journey through Libra. But in other ways, it also can include, it's sometimes described as the sun and Venus and Mercury, because those three are always close together. So I'm going to go over the dates for that. All right, so first of all, I'll go over the equinox dates, and I'm going to do dates for all around the world because I know that people do tune in from other parts of the world. Okay, so the moment that the sun goes into Libra is the equinox, whether that is your autumn equinox in the northern hemisphere or your spring energy equinox in the southern hemisphere. All right, and that is in New Zealand, in Aotearoa. It is on the 23rd of September at 4:19 a.m. That is when the sun goes into Libra. Australian Eastern Standard Time, it's at 2:19 a.m. If you are in Europe or South Africa or in anywhere on that longitudinal time zone, 8:19 p.m. on the 22nd of September. If you're in New York, it's 2:19 p.m. on the 22nd of September. And if you're in LA or Vancouver, 11:19 a.m. on the 22nd of September. Okay. So that's when the sun goes into Libra, and then the sun is brightening up, lightening up, energizing the things to do with Libra and wherever Libra is in your chart, which I'll talk about at the end. And the sun is going to be there until the 22nd or 23rd of October, depending on where you are in the world. So you can see it is a month, and the astrological calendar for Western tropical astrology is designed like that. It goes with the sun and the sun's seasons. Okay, so even though we've got the lunar months going around, and the dates change all the time, every year the lunar month dates change, but the astrology is designed on the sun's movements. Okay, the lunar month is still important though. All right, okay, so let's talk about Libra. Hello. So Libra is a sign that is about balance And again, like it's spring equinox for the southern hemisphere, so maybe it should be sort of Aries-like and energy and starting new things and having fresh eyes and fresh feelings. But Libra people born with Libra still have this this quieter feeling, and Libra is more balanced. It's about symmetry. It's about things being fair and equal. And with that, there is this aim and this goal of peacemaking and pleasing others, and keeping the peace and making things sweet between people. So Libra is an air sign. It's very good at talking and chatting and communicating and connecting, but especially in a one-to-one kind of way. Okay, somebody just walked past as you saw and said hello, so that was nice. So because of Libra's desire for balance, there is the seeking of peace and for things to be in balance and fair. And Libra tends to have, most Libra people are easy with communication and good at talking, and will often use charm and diplomacy quite sweetly, like they're clever. And I should say we, because I'm actually a Libra sun. There's ways to use words to keep the peace, to kind of make it. You can go around talking, like you can walk in, if you've got these Libra skills, you can walk in a conversation between two people and you can see they're at loggerheads with each other, and then you can just gently find the words to sweetly admonish them, sort of tell them off just in a nice way, and then maybe give them a compliment, and then distract them and maybe make them laugh, all in one or two comments. Libra, that's a Libra superpower. Libras can do that. They're looking out for ways to make the peace and to make people feel nice. There's Libra's ruled by Venus, and Venus has charm about it, and Venus likes people to feel relaxed and kind of beautiful and at peace, and just to feel nice and kind of loved up. In Libra, Venus being the ruler of both Taurus and Libra. In Taurus, Venus is more about possessions and wealth and luxury items and having beautiful things all around you. And in Libra, Venus is about the peacemaking and the relationships and the diplomacy and fairness and justice. Yeah. So towards the end of this Libra season, we're going to see Venus going through the sign of Libra, and Libra will be shining up. Venus will be shiny and happy and just dispensing diplomacy and charm left, right, and center with that. Also, with Venus's influence with Libra, Libra is very good at beauty in a kind of very classical, symmetrical, refined way. It's not usually quirky beauty or rough beauty, or the pearl hidden in a rough clothing. There's some kind of saying around that type of hidden pearl or the hidden gem. It's more about what is obviously beautiful, especially in a symmetrical way and quite a classical way. Libra can have a conservativeness about it. There's also a great rationality with Libra. Libra can be very rational, and this is where the justice can come in and be served really well, because while Libra wants everyone to feel happy and wants there to be a win-win, Libra, with its clever logic, can also be quite discerning and able to say, this is right, this is wrong, this is fair, and with discernment, making judgments in that way. But the judgments will be aimed to be fair, okay, and not serving one interest over another is the absolute ideal of Libra. Yeah. So Libra brings wonderful qualities to the world, and wherever you have Libra in your chart, and everyone does, you bring those qualities in that area of life. Okay. And those qualities are peacemaking, diplomacy, sweetness and charm, beauty, and also that justice. Okay. And the sense of justice and fairness. The downside of Libra, the challenge for Libra, is to not be too people pleasing. Sometimes Libra will please and try to keep the peace at the expense of conflict. You know, be so conflict avoidant that actually sometimes there needs to be some conflict for stuff to really be addressed properly. And sometimes Libra can try and avoid that too much and not address things honestly, openly, and boldly. Okay, so yeah, I'm a Pisces and a Libra, and man, I really have to work on my people pleasing, because they're double. You know, that's like double energy for people pleasing and trying to keep the peace. Yeah. And what would be another side of Libra? Yeah, another side of Libra is, you know, we can be a bit conservative. Like we don't like things to be too out there, because we like that symmetry and ease. Then we tend to be less into like challenging things, challenging authority, or presenting quirky styles or unusual avant-garde artwork. We're more like sticking to what's been done before. So there can be, you know, that sort of conservatism, which, you know, we need that as well. Yeah. Okay. So at the moment, as I'm recording this, Mars is in Libra, and it has been going through for a while. And I'm not going to talk about Mars so much, because Mars is not so much connected with the Sun, whereas Venus and Mercury, because they orbit the Sun, they're so close to the Sun, and they're between us and the Sun, between the Earth and the Sun. They are always with the Sun, whereas Mars often is on the opposite side of the Earth from the Sun. But I will just check. I'm just going to pause to check the dates there. Yeah, so Mars has been in Libra for a little while, and it's going to move into Scorpio actually just on the day of the equinox. Let me just see. The day before the equinox, and in some countries it might be on the same day, Mars moves into Scorpio. So we've had Mars in Libra, and you know, Mars is the ruler of the opposite sign Aries. It likes to be feisty and energetic and take on fights, and in Libra it makes people maybe fight for justice a bit more. But we've had Mars there for a while, and we're coming up to the Libra season with the Sun and Mercury and Venus. So I'm going to go through those dates and what they all mean. All right, so let's look at it first. Mercury has been in Libra since the 18th of September and will be there until the 7th of October. All right, so it's just gone into Libra by the time you get this video. Mercury in Libra, actually that's the placement I have as well. Mercury is about our communication, it's about wit, it's about rational thinking and analysis, it's about planning, it's about trade and exchange. It governs so much of our normal lives. It's about analysis, even research, thinking things through, organizing things, and definitely communication, social media, emails, messages, transport also. All right, so when Mercury is in Libra, as it will be from those dates, 18th of September to the 7th of October, Mercury is going to be helping us talk about peace, helping us talk about art, and helping us negotiate with each other, negotiate on a one-to-one basis, and make plans. Libra is good at talking. Mercury is all about talk, and so Mercury is going to do well there. There's hopefully going to be more peace, talking about peace and planning for peace, and actually maybe being quite clear and logical with communication, but also diplomatic with communication. All right. So we've also got the sun. All right, so the sun, of course, goes into Libra on the 22nd, 23rd at the moment of the spring equinox, and the sun's going to be there until October 22nd, 23rd. And the sun is about, wow, the sun is kind of everything in some ways. It's about identity. It's about who you are, how you shine in the world, how your soul shines forth, expands into how it reaches into the world, how it radiates into the world, how your soul, S-O-L, soul, you know, the word for sun in some languages is like soul. So I'm just moving around. The forest floor is a little bit prickly. But yeah, my fault for hiding from the sun when I'm talking about the sun. Yeah, so the sun going through Libra is going to be helping the Libra part of your chart shine out, express itself from the heart. The sun rules Leo, and Leo is about the heart and what is heartfelt and confident and willing to just express itself or even perform so confidently and so with such joy that there can be great charisma with that. And so we're going to see the lighting up of things to do with Libra, lighting up of beautiful things, of artworks, of classical music, of beautiful symmetrical buildings, of peace talks, of peaceful intentions, of peacemaking, of diplomacy, of charming conversation. Sometimes Libra is just about charming one-to-one conversation that will have the chance to shine, and there can be some heartfelt energy with whatever area of life Libra falls in while the sun is there. And then the sun will move into Scorpio, and it will be another area of your chart lit up. But then shortly after the sun moves into Scorpio, before the sun moves into Scorpio, we will have Venus, because Venus is a morning star at the moment, and you will see on a clear morning Venus lighting up the sky in the east before the sun comes up. Okay, Venus will be in Libra from the 14th of October until the 7th of November, so that's coming through later. And then Venus will be in its home sign, and it will be really upping the charm, upping the peace, hopefully giving the chance to have peaceful communications where there needs to be some repair between people, hopefully shining up beauty and encouraging works of art, hopefully shining up just fun conversation that is charming and equal without anybody dominating, and you know, that can just be really nice social connection. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through sign by sign and talk about this Libra season and what part of the chart it is for you. And I will start with Libra, of course. And please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. And yeah, I'll try and think of something to say at the end as an outro as well. If you are Libra sun, moon, or rising, and especially Libra rising, I'm actually Libra sun and born just after the equinox, so this is going, the sun and Mercury and Venus are going to hit me earlier. But yeah, especially if you are early degrees of Libra, the equinox is a part of who you are and all of your soul. And so it's an important time of year for you. Okay, so you've got Mercury going through Libra, your first house, from the 18th of September until the 7th of October. That's going to help you with your communications, and it's all about you. Everything in your life is affected by your first house, but especially your body, the part that you play in the world. You're going to be feeling more energetic with Mercury and the Sun and Venus bit by bit, one by one. And you're going to have more energy. You might look a little bit more beautiful because Venus can light up beauty. And the first house is about your body and how you look, how the world sees you. It's going to be affecting your relationships because the first house affects everything. Relationships are such a big part of life. The first house is also going to affect your home and your career, your other half, the work that you do, everything in life. So, and it's going to be you walking around during this Libra season being a bit brighter, a bit more blossoming and beautiful, a bit more clever with your words with the Mercury, a bit sharper with your planning with the Mercury, and a bit more ready to express yourself with heartfelt energy with the Sun there. Okay, so enjoy that, Libra. Enjoy the Libra season. It is your season. You can shine with all your beauty, your peacemaking skills, and your clever charm. Go. If you are Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Scorpio Rising, well, Libra is your 12th house, and this is a house that's kind of hidden from the world. It's like your place of retreat, or the parts of your life that other people don't know about, maybe secret parts, maybe where you journal, maybe where you do inner child work, maybe where you explore your addictions and the patterns of behavior that you have that are not so good for you. It's where you explore some of those, but also it can be connections to far, far, far away places like foreign countries, or places that are hidden from the world like hospices or any kind of place of retreat. It can be the behaviors that you exhibit when you're in those places, except it's not really exhibiting because those places are private. Okay, so somehow this hidden part of your life is lit up during Libra season. So you've got Mercury going through, so maybe you'll be talking more about those hidden parts of your life. You've got the Sun going through, so maybe you'll be shining out a bit more. Somehow people might be seeing those hidden parts of your life more. And you've got Venus going through, and you might be feeling more loved up because, you know, that hidden world can be also some of the secret pleasures of life as well. So it's Scorpio, you have kind of a secretive nature at times. There's something mysterious about you in your whole nature, and so you're probably quite comfortable with that 12th house energy, which is mysterious and secretive just by nature. And when this area is lit up, maybe you can celebrate that side of yourself a bit more, your mysterious side, your hidden private side that's specially for you. And yeah, maybe explore, and maybe it's a chance to do some healing work, because part of that hidden side is like, you know, there can be, some people call it the house of your self undoing. I think Laurie Lothian is one astrologer who calls it that. Yeah, there can be some patterns of behavior that it would be helpful to address, and you have the help of those planets, especially with Mercury. It could be a counseling session that helps you, or some kind of talk therapy. But whatever it is, it's a chance to celebrate and explore that more hidden part of you. Take note of your dreams. They could be really useful. There could be communications through your dreams. If you have chances to access your unconscious self, like through, I don't know, writing or drawing with your left hand, anything like that, celebrate it. After this season, Mercury and Venus and the Sun will be going into your house, and it will be all about you after that. So all the best, Scorpio. If you are Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Sagittarius Rising, well, this Libra season is going to be affecting your 11th house. The 11th house is about your long-term goals, what you're aiming for in the long term, like over 5 years or 10 years. What are you working towards slowly? It's also about rewards from your work, whether those are the financial rewards or the kind of perks that you get, like the perks of having status, the networks that come through your work that help you out in life. It's also about large groups and friendships friendship circles that you're associated with, or large groups that you're connected with in some way. Maybe you have something in common. Maybe there's even some charitable cause that you have in common with those groups, or some way that you're connected to those large groups. So think about any large groups or organizations that you belong to. They are being lit up first by Mercury. Mercury is going through that 11th house of all those things from the 18th of September to the 7th of October. Then the Sun from 22nd, 23rd of September until 22nd, 23rd of October. And Venus from the 14th of October to the 7th of November. So with Mercury there, you're going to be helped to talk and discuss and plan for your long-term goals or your friendship groups, or your maybe expressing something about the rewards from your work. With Venus, you're going to be more loved up, and there might be some lovely friendship connections or some just lovely feelings from the work that you do, your career, that not your career itself, but the rewards from your career. And with the Sun, maybe you can shine in any of those areas. Maybe your long-term goals take a step forward. Maybe you are shining in some kind of heartfelt creative project, and that's coming through your long-term goals and improving your steps towards those. Or you're shining amongst your friendship groups. And what was the other one? Your rewards from work. So maybe this is a chance to shine in those connections with other people especially, and there could be some nice luck that comes along with it. So all the best for that, Sagittarius. If you are Sagittarius, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Sagittarius Rising, well, this Libra season is affecting your 10th house, your career house. And if you don't have a career, it's about how you have status in the world, what you're known for the work, for the work that you do, or your almost like a sense of purpose in the world, and to do with the legacy that you want to leave behind in the world. And this Libra season comes every year, where you have Mercury, the Venus and the Sun going through one at a time or together, lighting up that career area. So it's a nice time for your career. And I'll just go through the dates again. From the 18th of September, you've got Mercury going through your career house. So that might be helping you do some really good planning, or having some really good discussions and talks about or within your career. And then you've got the Sun going through. That's going to help you shine in your career. It's going to help you express what is heartfelt in your career. And when Venus goes through, it's in its own sign, it's going to be helping you with negotiations, with diplomacy, and maybe something that's a deal or an arrangement that's really balanced and fair, nutting it out and making it work with the Mercury help. So it's a time that comes every year that helps your career area to shine. So enjoy that, Capricorn. If you are Aquarius, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Aquarius Rising using whole sign houses, well, when you have the Libra season with Mercury, the Sun and Venus lighting up Libra, that is your 9th house. It's a house of your beliefs in the world, your belief systems in the world. Perhaps that is a religious practice or a spiritual practice, and the set of beliefs and how those feel organized, how they're kind of organized in your mind, what kind of gives meaning to a lot of your life actually with belief systems. But it's also a house of travel and adventure and the exploration and expansion of your mind, whether that is through geographical travel, or through exploring, through higher learning, especially like spiritual learning or university learning. It's not so much like real basic, simpler skills or physical skills. It's more that higher, expansive learning. But it can also be definitely just adventure, like adventure racing, any kind of outdoor adventure, or going far and wide in your travel to overseas places. All right. And so while you've got Mercury going through from the 18th of September, you can be planning for any of those. You can be talking and discussing philosophical questions, talking and planning for travel. When the sun is going through, those areas are lit up. Maybe you'll be more known for your traveling adventures, or more known for your spiritual beliefs, or for your higher learning. And with Venus going through, there are chances for just some lovely feelings in that area. The ninth house is a lucky house, and these transits do happen every year, just slightly different dates each time, and sometimes Venus is first, sometimes Mercury is first, sometimes the Sun, whatever it is. But the season comes every year, and it is a time where your ninth house of foreign travel and belief systems can kind of shine, and you can be feeling more bright and optimistic and communicative, and even loved up in those areas. So enjoy that, Aquarius. If you are Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Pisces Rising, well, we have Mercury from the 18th of September, and then the Sun, and then Venus going right until the 7th of November. That is the season of Libra, and it's lighting up our 8th house, because our 8th whole sign house is Libra. So the 8th house is it's a little bit of a quieter and more mysterious house, a hidden house. So it's a house of other people's money in our lives, the house of perhaps investments, a house of taxes, the house of our partner's money. It can also be the house of occult mysteries, like with tarot cards, or where you're exploring anything in the subconscious. Astrology can be included there, but there are many other practices along those lines, maybe Reiki and stuff like that. Occult practices and some of the hidden mysteries of life. It can also be a house of deep intimacy and even deep power, like where you're exploring hidden areas within yourself about where power resides, or where you believe power resides, and how that interacts with other people in your life, especially one-to-one partners. That kind of goes along with deep intimacy in some ways. It can also be a house of our psychological layers that goes on with the deep power stuff, all right? So this is a dark and hidden area, but it's actually lit up during that time, especially when the Sun is there. When Mercury is there, 18th of September to the 7th of October, we might be doing more talking about some of those areas, talking about our partner's money, or talking about our psychological issues or our psychological patterns. When the Sun is there, some of those areas will be lit up and more visible than they usually are. It might be that you learn more about what's going on with your partner's money, or with your own investments, or anything or inheritances. And when Venus is there, there's chances to feel more loved up, to have negotiations and arrangements made where you need to negotiate things to be fair, and that can be really helped, especially with Mercury and Venus, though they're at slightly different times actually. Mercury's already gone by the time Venus is there, but it means there's a long time of that energy there, talking about those matters and having this really helpful, loving energy about those matters. Venus in Libra could help with some beautiful intimacy. So that could be nice. Anyway, that is for us Pisces. All the best for that Libra season in our 8th house. If you are Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Aries Rising, the Libra season that's coming up is in your 7th house. So you're going to have first Mercury from the 18th of September, then the Sun, and then finally Venus right until early November, lighting up your house of partnership. And so this could make for some really lovely times between you and others that you work with or spend time with on a one-to-one basis, whether that's a marriage partner or a long-term committed love partner, or whether it's somebody that you work with or somebody that you're negotiating things with, especially when Mercury is there. That's a really good chance for talking and negotiating with your partner. And then when the sun comes, they're going to be lit up. Oh, it can also be a friendship or just somebody that you do a lot of things with, or you are talking and working things out on a one-to-one basis. It also can be like therapist and client kind of relationship, or some kind of service that you give and you have a client in a one-to-one kind of meeting format. All right, so Mercury is going to help the talking between the two of you. The sun is going to light things up, and then when Venus comes along later on, that's just going to be more loving, more diplomatic, more easy to negotiate, and to make things nice and fair and win-win for everybody. It might also be that your partner themselves is quite lit up during this time, like maybe the sun is shining on them and people are noticing how wonderful they are, and you're noticing as well, and you can feel appreciative of your partner. So enjoy that, Aries. That's a nice time in partnership and for your partner over the Libra season. If you are Taurus, sun, moon, or rising, but especially Taurus rising, the Libra season from when Mercury goes in on the 18th of September right until early November when Venus finally moves out, the Libra season is lighting up your sixth house. And that is nice because the sixth house is so much about ordinary everyday life. The sixth house is about your work in life, where you do your work, who you work with, what kind of tasks you do during the day. It's also about your daily routines for health and organization and cleanliness. So like doing your exercises, whatever you do to keep yourself healthy and clean, brushing your teeth, washing your face, having a shower, keeping the house in order. And maybe the most wonderful thing about the sixth house is about how you give service in the world in really practical ways. And Taurus, you love to be practical. You're a really practical sign. So you understand the sixth house. Some people don't like it so much because it can be, a lot to do with life admin, and it can get too bogged down in detail. But you're going to have Mercury there. Mercury is going to be helping with any talking and discussion with your workmates or colleagues, or with the people you live with, or the people you exercise with. Then you're going to have the sun, and that's going to light things up, and people might be noticing how good you are at the work that you do, or the service that you give in the world. And then Libra is going to make things feel more loving, more fair and just. It could be with both Mercury and Libra, good chances to make negotiations with the people you live with about who does the dishes, who cleans the bathroom, who does the vacuuming, something like that. Practical life admin things, or negotiations with people at work, whether you're sharing desks or just working things out. Things will just be like flowing more peacefully, and there'll be more goodwill and probably more generosity and sweetness amongst people in those areas over that time, especially with Venus there. All right, so all the best for that, Taurus. If you are Gemini, sun, moon, or rising, but especially Gemini rising, well, you're going to be having the Libra season all lit up and lovey-dovey and good at talking in your fifth house. The fifth house is a fun house. It's nice to have those things in there because they're going to be making life feel a bit more fun, a bit more playful. You're going to have the fifth house is about your fun and your play, your hobbies. It's about your children and what your children are up to. And it's about the children of your heart. So that's why the hobbies, but also entrepreneurial projects. And the fun is about the things that you do just because you love doing them. They're really heartfelt. You would do them whether you got paid or not. And sometimes people do turn that into a business, a small business, maybe a big business eventually. But it's, first of all, it starts by coming from the heart. And so it can be really artistic, expressive, and shiny. The sun is the ruler of Leo, and that is naturally associated with the 5th house. So you might be being noticed, or you might be setting out to express and create and share that with the world during this time. It comes every year that you have this season with your 5th house being lit up, and it's always going to be a nice time of year depending on what other transits are going on. Yeah, so also you're going to have Mercury from the 18th of September. That's going to help you with talking with your children, planning your creative projects, making plans to do something fun. And then when the sun comes in, it's going to be lighting up your children or lighting up your creativity. And then when Venus comes through towards the end, leading right until early November, that's going to make that 5th house feel more loved up, fun, and you might be getting compliments and just having a sweet feeling, and maybe able to make some negotiations and deals with other people that you might be doing lovely things with. So there you go, Gemini, enjoy that. If you are Cancer, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Cancer Rising, well, Libra is coming into season with Mercury and then the Sun, and finally Libra right up till early November. That is the Libra season, and Libra is your 4th house. It's your 4th house of home and family, the people you live with, the place you live, your family of origin, your heritage, your ancestors. And it can also be about properties that you own or properties that you are looking after, something to do with property. So something is all lit up, loved up, and talked about in this area in a positive way. It starts with Mercury going through from the 18th of September, and it might mean during that time that you'll be talking about your home or the people you live with or your family of origin, communicating. It's a good chance to use Mercury there. And then when the sun goes through, and that's from 22nd, 23rd of September until late October, that's going to be shining up your home. It could be a good chance to have a party or invite people around, because your home or your family of origin or the people you live with, you're going to have a bit more shininess and charisma about you and attraction. And then when Venus goes through, there's going to be just more love and sweetness and peaceful harmony in your home, and that's lovely. So you might want to use those transits and plan something around it, like a nice dinner party or just having someone around that you'd like to be with. All the best for that, Cancer. If you are Leo, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Leo Rising, Libra is about your 3rd house. Libra is a sign that rules your 3rd house, and the 3rd house is a house of neighborhoods and community and your connections within the community. So it's about how you go around, like your short distance travel. It's about the people that you talk to in your community and trade and exchange. It's also about relations. Like your siblings, brothers and sisters, and aunties and uncles and cousins, and also social media communications. The 3rd house is all about communication, and this Libra season starts with Mercury going through from the 18th of September, and that's going to be making you good at talking, good at connections in your community, good at talking with your relations. So if you've had any fallings out in the last while with anybody in your neighborhood or in your close family, like not so much your parents or children, but other relations, that could be a good chance to try and get the negotiations and the discussions going again. And then the sun is going to come into Libra from the 22nd, 23rd until towards the end of October, and it's going to be lighting up that area of your neighborhood, your community. The 3rd house can also be about learning, like learning something local, primary school learning and teaching, and also like where you're learning something with your hands, like hand skills or anything, adult courses around the neighborhood. All right. So these could be lit up, and you could be known to be a good neighbor or known to be a good family member. And then when Libra comes in, which is a bit later on, but it's right until, it's from about mid-October until early November, then you're going to be having some nice, loving, peaceful feelings about your neighborhood or about your relations, your brothers and sisters, or about learning and teaching. And that could be online learning as well, because the third house is all about the online messages and exchanges as well. And yeah, that could even be a good time to make an arrangement or sign a contract. It will be like Venus will help it to be fair for everybody and to be more of a win-win for everybody. So there we go, Leo, all the best for that. And finally, if you are Virgo, sun, moon, or rising, well, it's been all about you guys for a while because you've had 2 new moons and then the eclipse in your opposite sign, Pisces, and then you're just about to have that new moon eclipse at 29 of Virgo. And then the heat's going to be off you a bit because it's going to move into Libra. So Libra is your second house. And the second house is about your money and possessions, your earnings, however that comes. And it's about what you value in the world and how you show your value for what you value. And that includes yourself. So the sense of self-worth comes in as well, and how you look after yourself, how you look after your body, how you look after your possessions, and how you look after your money. All right. So when Mercury goes in mid-September, 18th of September, that is from then onwards, there can be a chance to talk about your money and talk about your earnings and talk maybe planning and making a budget to plan for something, or planning to renew some possessions that you have if they need updated or repaired. How do you look after your things? And so Mercury will give a chance for talking and planning about that. And then the sun is going to move in from 22nd, 23rd of September until late October, and that's going to be shining up your area of possessions, maybe giving you more energy for your earnings, or to think about your earnings and look after things and review your values, perhaps review what you value in the material world and how you show that. And then finally, from mid-October until early November, Venus is going through that house, and Venus in her own sign of Libra is going to be making stuff feel probably you're going to feel more like you're experiencing some luxury, and maybe a luxury item or two could come your way, something lovely to eat, something lovely to look at, some nice adornment, nice earrings or something. And that you're going to be, it's a good chance to apply whatever it is that you've been thinking about with your possessions, and Venus will help you to action that and to feel lovely about whatever looking after of your possessions or your values, and thinking about that. The surface side of the second house is about possessions and money, and then the deeper side is about how you value yourself and how those material things that you have around you show how you value yourself. Yeah. So that's a question to think about, and you'll be helped to maybe make improvements. This comes every year that you have a season of these 3 in Libra. Different order, different dates slightly, but roughly the same time of year. And it's a good chance to review and allow some of those aspects to shine. So all the best, Virgo. So there we go, everybody. That is a little bit of a romp through all the signs, talking about the Libra season coming up. And I know I don't do it every time. If I had more time, I'd love to talk about every season. So because after Libra season, we have Scorpio season, when Mercury goes into Scorpio, then the Sun, then Venus goes into Scorpio, and it moves around. And as the year goes by, each part of your chart gets lit up by these three, slightly different timings. Sometimes Venus is in front of the sun, sometimes it's behind, and likewise Mercury. And then it's also affected by the other planets, the slower moving planets from Mars onwards, and what's going on with them. But it's these ones, the Sun, Venus and Mercury, are the most personal of the personal planets. They really rule so much about everyday life and the details of everyday life and just what daily life is like. And it's really neat that they go around the zodiac over a year and each part of your life gets lit up by them. I think that's awesome. Another day I'll talk more about Mars, and of course I recently talked a lot about Saturn, and I've probably talked about Jupiter at some stage. They're all awesome. They all bring their gifts. Anyway, so I'm in a Swiss forest. My partner and I are working our way back towards England, and we're going to sell our lovely van and then come back to New Zealand quite soon. And yeah, really looking forward to coming home. I know I keep saying that, but yeah, still having a wonderful time here in Europe, learning so much about the world. And I know everybody who travels says it, that people are nice everywhere and there's goodness everywhere and there's just humanity and people being human everywhere. But yeah, traveling is a really good way to remember that. And everywhere, everyone is being affected by these astrological transits in some way or another, lighting up their chart in some way or another. And that's something we all have in common. So it's really neat. Bye for now. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video.